Hello, we're going to make a video, and this video is going to show us how on the special project specproj.cc.lehigh.edu machine we can create a new user, and also how we can add this user to the sudo users group. So without further ado, um, let's bring up a command prompt screen, and we'll go ahead and do this. So first thing we need to do is we need to log into the uh, specproj machine, and we do that by you can either connect in with the X2Go, or you can SSH from an SSH client into the machine. So I'm going to use SSH-L, meaning my login ID is next. I have a login ID on the machine called ECE, and the name of the machine is called specproj.cc.lehigh.edu, and I'll type in my password. Okay, so to add a user, we're going to use the add user command, and I'm going to make a user called demo. What I would normally use here is I would use the excuse me, the user's Lehigh user ID. For example, my Lehigh user ID is DPM3. Other people would have 6-character user IDs. The last 2 characters usually end with a year, so it might be DPM421 if I was a undergraduate student that was graduating in 2021. But for this example, I'm going to use demo. And here, see, it says only a root user can add, only root may add a user to the group. So I'm going to use sudo add user demo. And first thing it does is it asks for my password since I'm using sudo. So I have to type my ECE password in. Okay, and then I have to assign a password to for the user, a new password. Okay, so I gave it a password. Now it's going to ask me for a some information, and I'm just going to use my name. And room number, I put in 232. I could have put in 232 Packard Lab. And then work phone number 61058. Okay, and then I'll put my home phone number in. Here I could type in my cell phone number if I wanted to. And this is just text that appears on the what they call the gecko line of the password record. And is the information correct? I'm going to say yes. Okay. Now if I grep demo from /etc/password, the password file, you'll see it put that information into the password file. And so that's how you create a user. And if I do sudo su-demo, you'll see that it switches me over to the demo ID. And I'm in the demo home directory. So you'll notice I didn't have to type a password the second time I did that sudo command. When I ran the sudo command to when I ran this sudo command, it didn't ask for a password. That's because for approximately 15 minutes after you do a sudo command and put in the password, it will remember that password. So for about at least 15 minutes, if you do sudo commands, you won't have to put the password in. What else do we want to take a look at? If I type grep and sudo /etc/group, there's a group record called sudo, and everybody who is attached to this group record will have sudo capability. So if we want to give, if we don't want demo to have sudo capability, that's all we have to do in terms of adding the user. If we want the user ID demo to have sudo capability, then we should run this command, sudo usermod -ag. We're going to add to the group sudo demo. Okay, and now if I rerun that command where I grep sudo from the group file, you'll see the demo is now attached on that record. And if I sudo su-demo, now I'm in the demo ID. You can see I'm in the demo home directory. Now, with the demo ID, if I say sudo ls-l/root, I'm going to list all the files in root, and let me put an A in there so I get the dot files. I hit enter. Now it's going to ask me for the password for the demo, since I'm in the demo ID. And now this demo ID is able to list all the files under /root, showing that it has sudo capability. Okay. So that's how you set up an ID, and that's how you add sudo to an ID after it's been added. Now, one last thing we can do is you'll notice under /home there's an ID called, or a directory called demo. That's the demo home directory. And you'll see that if I grep demo from /etc/password, there's a user ID called demo in the /etc/password file. If I want to get rid of that demo ID, if I type user del for user delete, and I do a -r, that's going, and then demo, that's going to get rid of the home directory, and that's going to get rid of like the demo mail account. So this will get rid of everything under demo. Just to clean up, I'm going to get rid of the demo ID. And again, look at that, I forgot sudo. I have to have sudo to do this. Okay, so that's how you go ahead and create an ID. You can add that ID to sudo, and you can then delete that ID. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.